action is a pretty ambiguous noun, isn't it? I mean, there are countless activities that could qualify as action, but when you pair it with the adjective elevator, there's only one kind of action I think of, and I blame Aerosmith. This, however, is a very different kind of elevator action. Apparently in the 80s, transportation was like the least important use of the elevator. Developed by Taito and shipped to arcades in 1983, Elevator Action is a side-scrolling action platformer, and it's a classic in the truest sense. You play as a secret agent codenamed Otto. Your mission is to infiltrate a building that's crawling with enemy agents and abscond with the secret documents hidden within. Or not so hidden. I mean, who hides a secret document in a room and then says, hey everyone, I got an idea. Let's paint the doors the same color as a freaking maraschino cherry. I mean, forget giving away their location. Now you're just breaking up the flow of the place. Fortunately, Otto is not an interior designer. His job is to break in and get out, but in order to do that, he has to take the elevators, and that's what elevator action is all about. Fending off enemies while you wait for your elevator. It's not exactly living it up while you're going down, but it's fun nonetheless. Controlling Otto couldn't be simpler. You can walk, you can shoot, you can duck, and you can jump, and it works just fine, even almost 30 years after the game's release. The controls are really solid, and the constant dodging of bullets while waiting for your elevator really makes elevator action. In fact, it actually kind of creates a sense of tension. You just want to hammer that call button while the bullets whiz by your head and you count the seconds until the elevator arrives. In fact, you sometimes miss that elevator because you're busy fending off enemies, which forces you to wait all over again. Like most of the great arcade games of its time, this is a game that requires a ton of skill, but it's also ruthlessly addictive. Arcade games were always meant to suck away your quarters, and at that, elevator action has always excelled. And speaking of skill, the scoring system is built upon a risk-reward foundation that gives skilled players plenty of chances to maximize their point totals. For example, you earn more points for jumping up and kicking enemies in the head, but if you're anything like me, you're happy to just shoot them from a nice long distance. You might call me a coward, I call me a sniper. Another great thing about elevator action is the way the levels progress. The early floors of the building are really simple, but as you work your way down, they become more and more complex. So by the time you reach the lowest floors, where these clusters of elevator cars stand between you and your getaway ride, elevator action starts to really test your joystick dexterity. It's a rewarding kind of level design that pushes you, but it never frustrates you. Taito's name has been emblazoned upon some of the best arcade games ever made, and this is definitely one of the company's best. It's the classic, it's the timeless elevator action.